Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. Great to be along with you. Have you heard of the Henry Nowak case? An 18-year-old university student in Southampton, United Kingdom, that is stabbed to death. And instead of police treating him like the victim that he was, they treated him like a criminal. They put him in handcuffs. He told the police, "I'm stabbed. I'm bleeding. I can't breathe." And you know what the police said? "I don't think you are, mate." Why? Because a Sikh man, all right, of the Indian descent, claimed that Henry Nowak was being racist and that the Sikh man was the victim in all of this. What's happening in England? Prioritizing threats of racism over actual crime, prioritizing making criminals feel safer than law-abiding citizens, is the track we're on here in the United States. It most absolutely is. This case is gripping England as the suspect, the killer, has been sentenced to like 21, 22 years in jail. So it's not enough for taking a life. But how do we get to the point where police are putting the weight of diversity, equity, and inclusion over the weight of a victim in need? This young man was just walking home at night when he was attacked, basically confronted by this. And guess what? He videotaped it all. They're not releasing the videotape, even though they've had the trial. They did release the body cam footage. I'll play that for you. Quite frankly, the whole thing is absolutely sickening. We're going to go through it all for you today on the podcast. Before we do that, I want to tell you about my friends over at Sugarfina. Right now, what Sugarfina is doing is looking for investors to start buying up other similar high-end luxury brands, specifically in the food space, candy, coffee, pastries. This company's on track to do $72 million a year in revenue. Profits are going through the roof from what I'm being told. Would you like an opportunity to get into the same company that Scott Laporta is in? He's the CEO, and Paul Kessler is the principal portfolio manager and founder of Bristol Capital Advisors. Paul Kessler's the guy that founded Start Engine, one of the top incubators in LA. Kessler's got $24 million in this deal. This should be the last round of private placement if you're an accredited investor to get into Sugarfina. Their goal is to take the company public. So you would have a quick liquidity event if everything goes as planned. If you're interested, invest.sugarfina.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen, invest.sugarfina.com. There is a webinar on June 11th, next week. You ought to sign up for that as well and check this out. This could be a great, great, great opportunity. Invest.sugarfina.com, invest.sugarfina.com. All right, let's get the show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, it is great to be along with you today. I am absolutely sickened by the case of Henry Nowak, and the killer's name in all of this is Vickrum Digwa. I've got a picture of them here. This is the suspect. He was carrying one of these Sikh knives, a traditional knife, a long blade, before stabbing this young man, Henry Nowak, who was not an aggressor. He was not the agitator. He was confronted, no alcohol, at least alcohol below the legal driving limit. So that wasn't a factor. This Sikh man decided to stab him, claiming he's a very, very bad man. And what happened? They called 911 first. Okay? You know what I'm going to do, I think? I'm going to play for you a story as they spell out the case. This is the story that I saw on the news to give you some background, and then we'll talk about it, okay?
It was on a Wednesday last December that Henry Nowak left his university halls for the last time. CCTV at the Hobbit pub shows Henry on his own. Later, he passes the pub again and heads off towards home. This is Vickrum Digwa, a Sikh whose faith obliges him to carry a ceremonial knife called a kirpan. Henry crossed paths with him on Belmont Road. As he strolled up the street in the dark, Henry is heard singing to himself and yawning in a video he's filming on his phone at the time. His phone camera also captures a very brief exchange with his killer. Henry was heard saying, "You're a bad man, say you're a bad man, go on." Digwa replied, "I am a bad man." This first-year accountancy and finance student ended up being stabbed 4 times and cut on the face. When the police arrived, Vickrum Digwa insisted he'd been the victim of a racist attack. Officers initially handcuffed Henry, despite him saying, "I've been stabbed." Henry then said, "I can't breathe," and went silent. Henry died here in the street.
The pathologist who spoke in court was clear. There was nothing officers could have done that day to save Henry. It's so important to me that I say that I'm sorry that Henry was handcuffed and arrested in the moments before he lost consciousness.
When the jury declared Digwa guilty, there were tears of relief from Henry's family. Vickrum Digwa's mother, Kiran Kaur, was found guilty of assisting an offender by removing the knife from the murder scene. Her son, described in court as a man who likes weapons, is due to be sentenced on Monday.
So he gets 22 years, not enough. He should get the death penalty. That was a good explanation of how it went down. We've got some more of the details now. So remember, this is completely set up by leftist policies in England, that they put more weight in claims of racism than they do in claims of "I've been stabbed." Do you think that's a problem? Now, that police officer said, "Oh, there's nothing they could have done." That's bullcorn, man. Now, I was an EMT. I've trained with police officers, and I'm going to tell you, the moment he said, "I've been stabbed," and he's no threat at this point. You don't know who's right, who's wrong. I'm not sure you need to handcuff Henry. You need to roll him over, and you need to start looking at his body as to where he could be stabbed. Then you need to start stuffing the wounds. None of that happened. Precious minutes went by before they even called an ambulance. It was totally bullcorn. And it started with this 911 call. Vickrum Digwa, the attacker, calls 911, lies to them, and says it was a racist attack and he was a victim of a racist attack.
Police emergency.
Yeah, we just been attacked by someone racially. Yeah, this.
Right.
He just attacked it, took it to start. Sorry? Huh? Sorry, we just got attacked racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home, and he attacked my brother.
A racist attack by some white person. All the bells go off inside the Southampton Police Department. Oh, boy, better get out there. Arrest the evil white guy. The poor Southampton student, Henry Nowak, was walking home from the pub, minding his own business, humming and singing on his phone. The suspect ended up taking his phone. The mother, as you heard, hides his knife, hides the suspect's knife. It's awful. So this, I'm going to play the entire body cam footage because I think it's important we go through it all. But this is the worst part of it, okay?
I was in bed asleep. My neighbour just found me up there. Look, someone's attacked me. I can't breathe.
Grab his other arm.
Help. So I've just gone running behind the living room on St. Denny's Road. Come running around the corner.
What's happened to you, alright?
Been stabbed.
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? I don't think you have, mate.
Look, that's what. And then I'm like, you've got nothing. I want to keep you up.
I've been stabbed. I don't think you have, mate. Are you freaking kidding me? This is someone's son, okay? Now, I don't care whether Henry Nowak is black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Sikh, whatever. When someone says they've been stabbed and they can't breathe, they're not resisting arrest here. They're showing no threat, no sign of threat to the officers. They're basically weak and limp. You need to check that man for injuries. And they did not do that. They need to be held accountable. I'm telling you, I'm a big supporter of police. But what's going on in England right now, they're acting like Gestapo. They're squashing the rights of free speech of individuals in England, and they don't have the same rights that we have there, but we believe they're inalienable rights. Doesn't matter what country you're in. God handed these rights down to us. I believe you have a right to free speech in any country because God commands it. I believe you have a right to walk down your streets safely, white or black, because God commands it. It doesn't matter what a constitution says. It matters what our Bible says and what God says and what rights are, human rights are. And this guy's human rights were 100% completely violated. It started with the suspect. Now, this is the father, and then we'll get back to the body cam footage. This is the father outside the courthouse.
With his final words, he told officers that he could not breathe. He told them he had been stabbed. In fact, Henry told officers that he could not breathe 9 times. He told them he had been stabbed 4 times. The response from one officer was, "I don't think you have, mate." The police have said they were misled by the murderer and that the scene when they arrived was complex. Unfortunately, it seems to us the truth is much simpler. The police were told by our son himself and by a member of the public who called 999 that they heard someone shout that they had been stabbed. But the police did not believe them. Henry was pulled across the gravel, his hands forced behind his back, and he was placed in handcuffs. Instead of being treated as a dying victim, police formally arrested Henry for assault and read him his rights. That was the last thing he heard. Henry did not die with dignity. He did not die with the care he deserved. He lost consciousness before anyone believed him. Let me be absolutely clear. We hold Vickrum Digwa solely and 100% responsible for the brutal murder of our son. But Henry should not have died on the streets of Southampton in police custody. The way he was treated was inhumane and degrading. His murderer, however, was afforded decency. He was believed. He was not handcuffed when arrested. He was not handcuffed when transported to the police station. As far as we understand, he was never handcuffed at all. And as Vickrum Digwa himself told the court, whilst under arrest for Henry's murder, police even took him to the kitchen so he could choose his food.
Are you freaking kidding me? The police conducted zero investigation because they instantly heard racism. They saw a minority individual, happened to be Sikh, and they said, oh, it must be the evil white man that did something wrong. They don't even conduct an investigation. And they instantly arrest the white man because they're trained to put a priority on racism over criminality. And even when the racism isn't true, they're trained to believe the minority at all costs. It is a very, very dangerous time right now in England. What is happening there is absolutely disgusting. So we will go through the body cam footage next. Before we do that, I want to tell you about my friends over at VRAinsider.com. Here's one tip that they have given me, and I'm going to give it to you. Tesla. Start loading up on it. They believe Tesla could skyrocket. This is not just a tech company. It's not just a transportation company. It's not just a data storage company. It's not just a battery company. This is a company that encompasses nearly everything. Tesla is the play. I'm loading up on Tesla. That's thanks to VRA Insider. If you like what you hear from this and what you see from the folks over at VRA Insider, because you're going to get a free 2-week trial, I urge you to sign up. Just go to VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. You get 2 free weeks. You'll get the entire portfolio. They're 10 baggers, stocks with the chance of 1,000% gains or more. They'll lead you every step of the way. It's not day trading, as I've told you. This is a buy and hold, make money system with average returns of 35+%. Okay? VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. Crush the market with them. All right. Let's get back to the body cam footage of this, because I would like to go through it piece by piece as they do this. This is them basically pulling up.
My dad's holding it now. Right. He keeps dropping side to side, so I'm just trying to keep him set up.
Alright.
He's got a mouthful of blood. I don't want him.
I can't breathe. He was on the bin on the other side of this gate.
He's jumped over these fences and stuff like that. And he's up
Move
here.
away, mate.
He's obviously fallen from there.
What they're saying here is that the suspect, which is not the suspect, it's the victim, had jumped over the fence. Well, hold on. Had jumped over the fence. He's trying to get away, but he can't get very far. Why? Because he's been stabbed a number of times.
Slip from there. There's other shooters left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate? Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother. He's took my turban off. Started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, little bruises.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down.
Got this stabbed.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we?
I was in bed asleep. My neighbour just found me up there. Look, someone's attacked me. I can't breathe.
Grab his other arm.
Help. So I've just come running through and he
Blood.
on St. Denny's Road.
They basically are
What's happened to you, alright?
Been stabbed.
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate.
Look, that's what. And then I'm like, you've got nothing. I want to keep you up.
Oh. And that's the critical part right there. You've been stabbed, mate. I don't think you have. What do you mean you don't think you have? You didn't check. The guy can barely talk. He's not resisting. He's not acting in an angry fashion. He's not acting like a deranged lunatic that would have just attacked some individual as the suspect, as the killer claims. What are these cops doing? This could be my son someplace. And don't think that just because this happened in England, it wouldn't happen here. There are cities in America where this exact philosophy is being pushed on officers. This idea that you've got to give minorities the benefit of the doubt at all costs just because they're minorities. Don't assess the situation when you go in. You see a minority, hold the white guy accountable first. You know, it's the complete opposite of what minorities cried and screamed and whined about for so many years, that they were the ones being persecuted. I believe that now the script is flipped. There may be some minority who says, hey, guess what? You got what you had coming to you. I don't think so. I think everyone should be treated equally no matter what color they are. And officers need to conduct a proper investigation.
Hand.
I can't breathe.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate.
Yeah.
This is like
can't breathe.
times this has happened to us. You've been walking, you parked,
He's bleeding out.
90 foot.
Nothing happened.
What kills me here, no pun intended, there's no sense of urgency whatsoever. An ambulance has not been called. Once he said, I've been stabbed, you need to be checking him and you need to call an ambulance. Oh, God, this is, when I tell you DEI policies will get you killed, this is the prime example. Everybody's standing around.
Where do you think you've been stabbed? In the face? Oh no, but we have to check, don't we?
Right.
In the face?
Just get these to back off, get their details and that, and I'll keep hold of them.
Should we
Keep you on your side, mate. You better retrieve then.
So go.
Saying to him, I'm keeping him on his side. We were sat up when we had him here, but he didn't like it. What's your name, mate? At the moment you are under arrest, and that's for assault, so you do not have to say anything, may harm in defence. If you do not mention when questioned, it's up to which you later rely in court.
How? This is where I really want to drop F-bomb after F-bomb. How in the world are you arresting him? You have no evidence to arrest him but a claim from the man who stabbed him that there was a racist encounter. What are you arresting him for? You haven't even gathered any facts. This story makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. Again, this could be anybody's young man, anybody's young son.
Anything you do say may be given in evidence, alright? It's going to be sick, I think.
Now think about this. They have not called an ambulance yet. We're 2 minutes and 30 seconds into where I started playing the video and they've not called an ambulance. 2 minutes in a situation like this, as proven, is a lifetime.
What's his name?
I just want you to call it.
Yeah, we've got this male. He's been beat up. Are we able to get an ambulance, please?
His pupils aren't even reacting.
Yeah.
Now, the family okayed the release of that body cam. Finally, they call an ambulance. Finally. But there was some very, very stiff reaction to all of this, including Nigel Farage, who's been a great hero in England, sticking up for the people there, just about how awful everything is and everything going on. Listen to him.
We need a change in culture. Enough of anti-white prejudice. A promotion of the idea that white lives matter just as much as black lives. An end to DEI and positive discrimination, but a country that treats everybody equally and fairly before the law. This is serious. This is urgent. I fear where our society will be in a few short years if we don't grip this and do it very, very quickly. I want to send my sincerest condolences, the country's sincerest condolences to Henry's family. I hope this is the last time a British police force operates in this way.
Me too, Mr. Farage. And it just seems so weak. Send condolences to the family. Sorry for your loss. I hate saying that. You know how many victims of crimes I've met over the years? Many of you know I worked in mainstream television. I was basically a crime reporter for many years, investigative reporter, crime reporter. I saw people at the absolute worst times of their lives, and I would have to say, I'm sorry for your loss. It's so hollow. It doesn't do it justice. I'm sorry for your loss. What do you say to people in a situation like this? The very men and women that were charged with protecting Henry Nowak are the ones that allowed him to die in handcuffs. Handcuffs. That is not dignity. That is not being treated like a victim and getting justice for you. In fact, they gave more rights. In fact, they let the Sikh man choose whatever meal he wants to eat. Screw that. So, where is the investigation in all of this? I believe the officers acted the way they did because of DEI training, diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've got to use this as a warning, shot across the bow in America. Do not let this happen here. God forbid if it did. I can't think of anything more awful. I want to just show you Henry, okay? I want to show you exactly who died. This is Henry. There is. Let me see. Let me see. By all accounts, a sweet young man. Well-intentioned, happy, not a troublemaker. But again, walking home at 1 o'clock in the morning in Southampton. There's no place safe at 1 o'clock in the morning, folks. I'm going to tell you, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but you just can't. He's become a nationwide hero in England, as well he deserves to be, because of what he's gone through. I'm going to play for you some commentary, and there is hope in England. There are people like myself and other conservative commentators who are speaking out about this. This story's starting to take off here in the United States as well. I'm going to play you that here in just a minute, but before I do, let me tell you about my friends over at Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. They are the official cell phone provider of Stinchfield's Army. Love this organization. They are a conservative activist organization that also happens to be a cell phone company. The service is great. You choose what network you want to be on. So if you want to stick on the AT&T or Verizon network, you can. But you pay Patriot Mobile, so your money is no longer going to fund the woke agenda. That's really important. Also important, 100% U.S.-based customer service. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. 972-PATRIOT is the number to call. You get a free month service if you use the promo code GRANT. So you want to call them today. This is for Stinchfield's Army members. 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code GRANT. Switching so easy, it literally takes minutes. Again, 100% U.S.-based. I bet you 20 minutes it takes to switch your phone. You can get a new phone, upgrade your phone, whatever you want to do. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. Hotspots, anything you need, they got it there. Give them a try. You will be happy. All right. So this gentleman was on GB News. You know, it's interesting. I got a call from GB. I'd never heard of it. And apparently, I think it's the new Fox News of Great Britain. And I got a call to come on. I couldn't do it. But I think next time, I am going to try to do my best to go on and bring the message to England as well.
I think we've just had Britain's George Floyd moment, except the victim in question was an innocent British young lad and not an American serial criminal and heavy drug user. Henry Nowak was stabbed in the heart, his legs, his face and his jaw. He was attacked by this man, Vickrum Digwa, who was yesterday found guilty of murder. What happened was that Digwa's brother, Gurpreet, called police after the attack and falsely claimed that Henry Nowak had been racist towards his brother. They did not call an ambulance, even though they must have known that Nowak had been stabbed. Then Digwa's mother arrived at the scene. She just turned up, and she took and then hid the ceremonial knife that was used to stab Henry Nowak to death. She was then found guilty of assisting an offender. So then what happened next? Well, it appears that 3 female police officers turned up. Henry Nowak told them that he'd been stabbed. They said, "No, you haven't." They then handcuffed him, and they didn't check him for stab wounds. He then told them that he couldn't breathe, and he sadly died, handcuffed, accused of being a racist, and what actually happened was that he drowned in his own blood. The claims that Henry Nowak had said something racist or knocked Digwa's turban off his head were completely blown apart during the trial. Because what actually happened again was that Digwa had stolen Henry Nowak's phone, which contained footage of the build-up to the stabbing. And it revealed that Nowak had not been racist. He'd asked why Digwa was walking around carrying a sword, which I think is fair enough when you think about it, really. And Digwa had responded by saying, "I'm a bad man," and then stabbed him multiple times. Now, I just want to reiterate that Henry's last words here were, "I can't breathe." And that's important, because I'm sure that many people will remember this, what happened to George Floyd, where, of course, he was dying in the street. He died in the street as a police officer had his knee on his neck, and he was saying, wasn't he, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Now, I'm not saying that George Floyd deserved to die. Obviously not, he didn't. But what I am saying is that George Floyd had multiple previous criminal convictions, including a 2007 aggravated robbery where he held a gun to a woman's stomach, and he did have multiple different drugs in his system at the time. People tried to burn cities to the ground in the wake of George Floyd's death. It prompted the whole Black Lives Matter movement. His death sparked protests right here in Britain.
All Black Lives Matter! Wait, take a new one. Come on! Yes, my man! Yes, my man!
Police officers literally taking the knee outside Downing Street to the Black Lives Matter crowd. Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner took the knee in solidarity because of George Floyd. So far, we have had absolutely no remarks from Keir Starmer about Henry Nowak, a young boy who drowned in his own blood as British police officers handcuffed him because they thought that the big crime that had been committed that day was that he'd been racist, which was a lie. Silence from the Prime Minister. Silence from pretty much all the politicians who stood up for BLM. The PM tweeted about a mosque attack in San Diego, California. Nothing about a white British lad left to bleed to death as police watched on. The local MP where the attack took place has proudly posted about attending BLM events. I mean, here's what I think needs to happen now. Number one, release the body cam footage of what really happened. Name and shame the police officers. Hold the police officers accountable. Deport the murderer's mum. She was born abroad. She helped him hide the sword. Why is she still here? Get rid of her. And ban these ceremonial knives. I just can't get my head around the reaction to George Floyd's death versus the reaction to Henry Nowak's murder. Black lives do matter, absolutely, obviously, 100% that is true. But I think in Britain, the message is that white lives don't matter. We saw it with the Pakistani rape gang victims, and we're seeing it again now.
So, you agree with him? I think it's the same situation in the United States. I agree Black lives matter. I also believe white lives matter. And there are many jurisdictions where they don't. I want you to think about this. This is what happens when institutions fear racism and accusations of racism more than they fear getting the facts wrong. So a lie about racism is now more powerful than a young man saying, I've been stabbed, I'm dying. That is not the world that I want to live in, and that is happening here. We know these DEI policies are having a huge effect on America. This is about a two-tiered system of policing. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, it should. So I would say this for cops. You need to get the facts. You need to get first aid, and you need to render justice. Now, the courts are actually there to render justice, but somehow arresting bad people, saving good people from bad, is part of the justice system. Facts and first aid need to come first, not necessarily in that order. It may be first aid, then facts, but either way, you've got to preserve life. And by taking the word of a killer is not preserving life. Quite frankly, the whole story is disgusting. One more clip for you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Every week, we hear of a brutal murder, rape, or stabbing, far too often perpetrated by someone who should not be in our country to begin with. Does the Prime Minister agree that for cases where the guilt is so undeniable, the crime so monstrous, the evil so irredeemable, the reintroduction of the death penalty for both foreign and domestic criminals should be put to the British people in a legally binding referendum?
Can I first say that any attack...
This guy deserved the death penalty. He took a young life because he just decided to be a, quote, bad man. That's awful. Absolutely awful. All right, folks, have you heard the story of Henry Waite? Henry Waite, I've told this story before. Henry Waite is an election hero. He exposed wrongdoing in Wisconsin. How did he expose the wrongdoing in Wisconsin? Well, you know what he did? He ordered the ballots of a local mayor and the Speaker of the State House to his house. I had Henry Waite on the program. He was convicted of felonies. So he's a convicted felon. He was facing 7 years in prison. We went on the offense to try to convince the judge not to give Henry Waite prison time. Well, there was an update in that case. I'm going to play the Real America's Voice segment for you. Remind you of a story that we were hot on. It's the story of Harry Waite of Wisconsin. He set out to expose how easy it is to engage in election fraud in the state of Wisconsin, a very important state for all of us. It is swing state extraordinaire. Well, what did Harry do? He got convicted of election fraud because he ordered ballots through the stupid mail-in ballot system that they have of one of the local mayors in Wisconsin and, you could put it up, guys, and the Speaker of the House in Wisconsin, those two individuals. He didn't use the ballots. In fact, when they sent him the ballots, he turned himself into authority, saying, hey, I got these ballots. This is how easy it is. I'm exposing the fraud. Nope. The Democrats made sure they charged him, and they convicted him. Well, he had his sentencing, and instead of the 7 years he could have gotten, I think because of a lot of the pressure, the public outcry that they were going after him as hard as they did, he got probation. Probation, that's good. He doesn't have to go to prison. But he still is a felon now. All the things that come along with that. This was him during trial, you may remember.
No, I could have ordered 1,000 ballots. I could have ordered your ballot and shipped it to her.
And you didn't care that you were doing this as you checked a box that said, I am who I say I am, and these are true statements. You didn't care that that was a lie, did you?
I care for the truth, and my vote is a scam. It is a fraudster's dream.
A fraudster's dream, and they went after the guy who was trying to expose it. Tell me how backwards that is. Praise Jesus, he only got probation. But as I said, he's a felon, gives up his guns. I don't think he could vote now in any of these elections. He loses his rights on that. A reporter asked him about, would you do it again?
Mr. Waite, one of the things the judge said was the issue of whether this is going to encourage other people to follow suit. What would you say to others that might be considering doing what you did?
Well, I won't recommend it. You know, I've got like $130-some thousand into this in my own money. And I did it for the people.
$136,000 it cost him. Well, I want to bring in now to discuss this the founder of Hot Government, that's H-O-T. Harry Waite is with us. Harry Waite, welcome to the program. I'm glad you're not in prison, but I'm very upset you're still a felon, Harry.
Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Being a felon is not something that was on my bucket list at 67 years old. I had a pristine record before that. And, but the truth matters more than one person. So the people of Wisconsin deserve better.
In many respects, Harry, they may have gotten a conviction here, but you exposed a lot. I'll ask you what the reporter asked you. Was it worth it?
I do it again and again and again. My answers don't change. You know,
How much?
The state is.
Go ahead, Harry.
The state has created a pyrrhic victory for themselves, and it's spelled P-Y-R-R-H-I-C. And you understand history that they won the battle, but they're losing the war.
Yeah. And this is really a war for America. As I mentioned earlier, Wisconsin is most certainly a swing state. Can I ask you about personally, though? 67 years old. Look, I'm 10 years behind you at 57. Nobody wants to lose $137,000 in all of this. What has this done personally to you?
Well, you know, it's I woke up in the year 2011 realizing our government is evil and corrupt. And, as I said, I do it again and again to ensure the next generation has the same opportunities that we had.
All right, Harry, what is the problem in Wisconsin when it comes to elections that if you could have it fixed tomorrow, what would it be?
It would be one-day voting on paper, in person, with ID, and hand count.
All right. What you did is expose this. Anybody can order a ballot. After you exposed this, was there any backlash on this? Any talk of changing that rule?
No, the commissioners are, in my opinion, they're fraudsters. In 2021, the Racine County Sheriff Department recommended criminal charges against 5 of the commissioners in WEC. And, we have several of them still in position of power. They're no good.
All right. So right now, anybody could do the same thing you did. Just basically call up and order anyone's ballot to their home. Do I have that right?
If you're anywhere in the world, you could be on the moon. If you have a connection to the internet, you don't need a password. You don't need a username, and you can order somebody's ballot and ship it anywhere in the world.
All right, Harry, here's the other thing I was upset about. I went to research your story again. I had you on the program and I met you personally, a month or two ago. There was very little coverage of your sentencing. I don't think the mainstream media wants anyone to know about this story and what you did because it exposes the fraud that the Democrats have perpetrated.
That's correct. We have exposed the fraud. The mainstream media hasn't taken it up, but a lot of Telegram sites have taken up the cause, and there's a lot of good people in Wisconsin that's committed for election integrity. So I'm not the only one. I just was the only one foolish enough to actually turn myself in.
Well, without doing that, you never would have been able to really actually prove it. We're grateful to you. As I said, Harry, I think you're a real hero through all this. I know you're a humble guy and don't want to take the credit on that front. But I'll ask you this. Are there any politicians, I met a couple of them actually when I met you, that feel strongly about changing this, that'll make this an issue moving forward where you can't just order anybody's ballot and get it sent to your house?
A lot of the patriots have tried to get commitments from some of the politicians. Hopefully Tom Tiffany will take on the cause and make election integrity the #1 issue, because it's so important for the rest of the world to be able to see that we have honest elections in the state of Wisconsin.
All right, and just to be clear, Tom Tiffany, the congressman, he's running for governor, correct, in Wisconsin?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, that would probably be a big friend to election integrity in Wisconsin. Harry Waite, a big thank you to you. God bless you. I'm sorry you had to go through this, but I'm grateful you're exposing this, and I'll do everything I can to spread this story because it proves what is wrong in so many states, not just Wisconsin, and I wish more outlets would pick it up. But you keep me posted. If we can do anything for you, Harry, you let us know.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's good. It's great to talk to Harry because I do believe what he went through is heroic in nature. There's no doubt about that in my mind. He is a fabulous guy. What he's exposing is so very important, and I'm grateful for him. But now he's a felon, so think about it. No guns, can't vote, gives up so many rights here on probation, one slip up. They could throw him in jail if they wanted. It was deceitful and vindictive on behalf of the Democrats to go after him this way when all he was doing was proving a point in all of this. Very, very sad. Jay keeps asking, I'm voting for Tom. He's my congressman now. That's cool, Jay. I'm glad you're in Wisconsin. I'm curious, had you heard about this Harry Waite story before? Because he's not getting a lot of publicity in the mainstream media. They don't want you to know what he did and how easy it is to do it. That's the bottom line in all of this. All right. Hey, have I told you about LostSoldier.com? Not yet today. Lost Soldier has a private placement opportunity for accredited investors to invest in this 40,000-acre natural gas project. This is a private placement with the ultimate goal of Lost Soldier going public someplace down the line. The CEO has told me he would like that liquidity event sooner than later. An investment in this project is an investment in stock in Lost Soldier. You do get royalties and overriding royalties with the wells that are drilled. There's also huge tax advantages thanks to President Trump's one big, beautiful bill, up to 100% tax deduction, which is wild to think. But this is what Trump wanted to do. And part of that plan from President Trump was to unleash our energy resources through projects like this. LostSoldier.com is the website I want you to go to. Click on the Invest Now button. Fill out the form. A member of the team will get back to you. Next week, they are having a webinar as well. And that webinar, they're great. I'll be on that webinar, help move things along, ask questions, moderate a little bit. And it's very, very interesting. It's always fascinating to me to see big-time CEOs, a guy like Mark Bruner, taking two companies public, one 100x on money, another 1,000x on money. So to see the potential of what he's done in the past to what he could do in the future is exciting to me. LostSoldier.com. That's LostSoldier.com. Go to the website, fill out the form, give them a visit, and talk to the team. All right. Now, yesterday, Democrats put on a hell of a display, man. A hell of a display. This is with Marco Rubio, Congresswoman Jacobs, who comes from like a billionaire family, by the way.
Last question for you.
Uh-oh, it's very low. Let me see if I can fix that.
Presidential election.
I'm not here to answer a question. We're talking about 2020. This is a Foreign Affairs Committee.
Okay, great. You can't. Last question for you. Mr. Secretary, who won the 2020 presidential election?
I'm not here to answer a question. We're talking about 2020. This is a Foreign Affairs Committee.
Okay, great. You can't answer the question, even though we all know that President Biden won.
I don't answer the question because the Secretary of State, I do not participate in domestic political issues.
This is not about domestic political issues. This is about our democracy.
You're asking me to opine, just like I don't do campaign rallies.
It seems like
I don't do because as Secretary of State, we're not supposed to. That's been the long tradition of the department, and you should know that if you've been on this committee for any period of time.
Mr. Secretary, it seems like you have an issue admitting facts. You can't say that the president lost the 2020 election, just like you won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice, and just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big. You clearly don't know what winning means, and not because the facts are unclear to you, it's because telling the truth would cost you your job, and the American people are entitled to a Secretary of State who tells them the truth even when the president doesn't want to hear it, and my constituents, our service members, deserve better. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I don't know what shoes she's talking about. What is she talking about?
Representative Burchett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'd like to answer any of that.
Yeah, I don't know about the shoes. I mean, he gave me some Florsheim shoes. They're actually pretty good. They fit fine. I don't know what she's talking about. And maybe that's what she's referring to.
Your shoes look very nice today, Mr. Secretary.
Well, how can you see them? They're way down here. We're talking about shoes. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus? What is this?
I think it's a circus, but I appreciate you.
Is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this a circus? I'm with him. It's a circus. The shoes. I remember some story about Trump buying him shoes. They were too big or too small. Who cares? I mean, you buy shoes for somebody, you take a risk. They may not fit. You return them. As I said on the show last night, Trump's a billionaire, though. He's buying him Florsheim shoes. You can't get him a pair of Ferragamos, Mr. President. I mean, $800 is nothing. That's what a nice pair of shoes costs these days if you're Secretary of State. But, hey, Florsheim makes a good shoe. I will say that. They absolutely do make a good shoe. But I'm sticking with my Ferragamos. Is that bougie of me to say that? Maybe a little bit. Quite frankly, I don't care. What I do care about are loons like this who treat the Secretary of State like this.
Sleeping right next to you.
No, he's not.
If Donald Trump cannot stay awake at these important meetings where the cameras are rolling, imagine what he's like when the cameras are not there. So I'm going to ask you, have you been at classified meetings where Donald Trump has fallen asleep? Or
These people are they're so just, they want their gotcha moment. They want to go after President Trump. They want to somehow prove that he's inept. He's not, as Marco Rubio is about to tell you.
Staying awake.
Meeting, I've never been at any meeting where, and the things you're showing me now, he was not falling asleep. And
I think so. You're lying again. You're lying consistently to Congress
about sleep.
You're lying to Congress, Secretary Rubio. So I'm going to show you another video in a moment.
respond to that other than to tell you that it's absurd and ridiculous. And I can't believe we're in a Foreign Affairs Committee meeting in front of the House at an important time in American foreign policy.
Just keep lying,
answering
Secretary Rubio.
questions
Just keep
from a
lying.
supposedly someone who thinks he's a medical expert when he's not. The truth of the matter is we had a cognitively impaired president in office a few years ago. That's a cognitively impaired president, but I don't like to talk about that because it weakens America. This president we have, this is a guy that literally doesn't sleep. He works day and night, long hours, every single day. I don't know if you haven't seen him in 8 days. I saw him yesterday. I didn't see him today, but yesterday because I was in Congress the day before. I talked to him at all hours of the day and night. He works inhumane hours. Okay, I've been on foreign trips with the president that he doesn't sleep in the whole flight. And everyone else is sleeping on the plane, and he's, wandering the hallways looking for someone to wake up and talk to that people are. So I don't know what you're referring to, but he has an incredible amount of energy. I'm just telling you, you may not like his policies. You may not like his policies, you may not like the decisions he's made, but I assure you, this is not a president that sleeps or is cognitively impaired in any way, shape, or form, and in fact is incredibly active, much more so in many cases than much younger people that are around him. Those are facts. I see it every day. You're not going to agree because you have another narrative that you want to push, but those are the facts.
I just showed you.
So those are hardcore facts right there. And again, Rubio does such a good job. I've said this before, I'll say it again. J.D. Vance better be looking over his shoulder. Rubio and Vance are very, very good friends. And Rubio is shining. This guy is presidential. I don't know what's going to happen the next time around because it certainly is Vance's turn, but we're not a party that deals in turns, but we kind of are, right? I mean, you're the vice president. You're expected. You run. There will be a whole slew of other people. If Rubio runs against Vance, they're buddies. Do you make a pact? I don't know how Vance could be vice president again a second time around, but I'm liking Rubio more and more as I see him.
Americans in
Why is she leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's go. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
All right, so we're going to talk about. I just want to.
Unfortunately, Representative's time has expired.
Going.
Representative Salazar is recognized.
Yes.
And giving contracts with no transparency
Can I
is
borrow your
exactly
time
the
to
reason
answer?
why you shut down USAID. So practice what you preach. I yield my
Oh,
time.
she gets to scream now too?
Chairman,
Scream
can
and
we
shout.
take down her words?
I'll give you some time. I'll give you some of my time.
All right, so that woman is about to leave, and that's the part you saw where he calls her out. So it's a little teaser is how this set up, but watch.
Let me just.
Okay.
Just
But God, what kind of thing is this? What is this? You get asked questions for 5 minutes and you don't get time to answer. It's not a hearing.
I think you said clown
Like
show
a dunk
before.
tank?
I
What
don't,
is
I don't
this?
have to tell you. I don't.
I've even used their time. How can I answer the question? They don't even give me time. I've had to use their time to answer your questions.
Yes.
All right, whatever.
All right, so I don't need to tell you that in my community, the city that I represent, the city of Miami, you're one of the most illustrious representatives, and that we're very proud of you, not only the Cuban Americans, but the Hispanic Americans in my
Why is she
community.
leaving? I'm
So
going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's go. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
All right, so we're going to talk about. I just want to.
So there you go. And off she goes and leaves. Now, this is like Al Green with Mark Wayne Mullen. Al Green lost his primary to another Democrat. This is the guy with the pimp cane who's always causing problems.
Racists take offense at peaceful protests.
Boy, what is wrong with my audio?
A racist, Mr. Secretary, would do what happened to Ruby.
Are you calling me a racist?
A racist.
I'm asking a question.
Reclaiming my time, asking to shut up.
That's a pretty.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up. It's my time.
I'm not going to let anybody call me a racist, Chairman.
Hell, I never called him a racist. It's my time.
It is, gentlemen, will suspend.
You will
Gentlemen
not.
will suspend.
Tell him to shut up.
Gentlemen, suspend. No, the gentleman will suspend.
No one will call me a racist. I'm Cherokee too. My family has been pretty tolerant.
I ask that my time be restored. I ask that my time be restored.
The clock has been stopped since I suspended the clock.
I will continue to interrupt as long as someone's
Yes,
sitting there assuming
I agree.
calling me a racist.
And as I said before, there will be no addressing anyone's character in a negative way. By the way, Mr. Green, I need you, when you're speaking, I need you to speak into the microphone because I can't hear you up here. But we will.
Evidently, his constituents heard enough of him because they voted him out of office.
Mr. Secretary, please. Again, we're almost done here today. Mr. Green, you can continue, but again, I will stop if this sounds like you are either directing that this secretary is a racist, or as well as the president or vice president, because we do know under our rules you cannot disparage a member of Congress or the president or the vice president. So I understand what you're trying to do. Be very careful because it is a violation of our committee rules to disparage another member, a witness.
So there you go. All he does is disparage. I mean, there's more of these clips of him. Do I even bother playing them? I don't know.
I will speak into the microphone so that I may be heard. I ask that any person who desires to interrupt me, shut up. Now, this is Ruby Bridges. She was integrating a school. You can see the hate on the faces of people. This was called racism. This was racism. All I did at the State of the Union address was display this, Mr. Chairman. This was what I did. I was peaceful. The secretary says he believes in peaceful protest. Cue the video, please. Cue one. Freeze the frame, please. That, my friends, is the Secretary of Homeland Security. He traversed some distance to get to a peaceful protester and display his despicable behavior. Unbought, that's me. Unbossed, unafraid, that's me. And by the way, unelected, yes. Liberated, Democrat. You, sir, have engaged in despicable behavior. Now, let's just talk for a moment about this behavior. It's not the only time that you've behaved in a dastardly way. Cue the second video, please.
Quit the Tough Guy Act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy.
Can't hear it.
Sir, this is a time, this is a place. You want to run your mouth? We can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
I can't take it anymore. That's Al Green trying to disparage Markwayne Mullin and not doing a very good job of it. Now, you want to know what the end result of all of this is? The end result of this is Democrats are floundering. This on CNN.
Okay, how upset are they in Congress, right? So you see this 46% who are satisfied with the party, the majority who are dissatisfied with the party. Again, this 46% lower than they were satisfied with Biden as the nominee after the worst debate performance of all time. And you can just see it right here. I mean, Democrats' net approval of congressional Democrats. Look at this. In October of 2025, right, during that shutdown, that first shutdown, plus 22 points on the net approval rating. So Democrats, okay, fairly satisfied with Democrats in Congress. Today, though, look at that. That is an over 30-point drop, a decline right into the ocean right there, minus 9 points. And I will note, it had never been negative. Democrats had always had a positive net approval rating of their own party in Congress in every Congress before this one. But now what we're seeing is consistent numbers across the board where Democrats are underwater, congressional Democrats are underwater with their own party. And that's why I think these primaries are going to be so interesting, because they're going to tell us, okay, which way do Democrats want their party to go?
But
How
that's the
upset are
question.
they?
Are there signs of that this reflects we want you to be more left or more center or more right?
Yeah, this is the big problem, which is Democrats aren't sure what direction they want their party to go. Democrats want their party to move left, 28%. not move at all. 18% move center. 47%. This is a party divided where they're not actually giving a clear message of where they want their party to go. The one thing I will say is 61% of all voters want their party to move to the center. So if all of a sudden Democrats are actually going to move to the left, which is not what their party wants, that will actually upset the rest of.
So what does the center mean? This is always the argument that I have with people. I don't really get it. I don't know what the center is in America. Is if you believe in the Constitution, the center does not. Okay? That's why I don't move to the center. But it should. The center in America should be believing the Constitution, the values this country was founded on, limited government, all of that. But that's not the center. So they call us right because the center has moved away from us. We're literally just following what our founding fathers wanted from us. It's the founders' vision. That's not a right-wing extremist view. The center is left now. And left of center is wackadoodle. And that's the bottom line. And so Democrats are in a complete shambles. Complete shambles. Very interesting, to say the least. All right, folks. Lastly, before I let you go, the wellness company, twc.health/grant. You see, we got this new screwworm in Texas. I'm going to have the wellness company on the Real America's Voice show tonight to talk about the screwworm and what that means to us. And then you got the tick-borne illness, the Lone Star tick, alpha-galactin, all kinds of stuff. You need a prescription medication kit that if you get bit by a tick, you need to take doxycycline right away. Doxycycline is in this kit. If you come down with COVID, you need to start pounding ivermectin. Ivermectin is in this kit. Don't worry about getting to the drugstore. Have the prescription drugs you need on hand. They got all kinds of stuff. Peptides now. Whatever you need, check out the wellness company. Pain gel. This Theragel, it's peptide-based, deeply penetrating. Great. So many great products. twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 10% off of those products. And I promise you, you're going to be healthier when you are a customer of the wellness company. All right, folks. With that, I'll leave you with this from Scott Bessent and the jerk that I call Tom Tillis.
Tell Pulte you were going to punch him in the face?
No, sir. I actually said I was going to kick his ass.
Good. Okay. Good. I share the emotion. Thank you.
And as I said, that was last summer, summer 25, and many teams have fights in the locker room and then go out and win for the team on the field.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because everybody's going to be showing that. I made it clear I'm not going to support Pulte.
Oh, God, you're such a loser. So even Scott Bessent, who threatened to kick his ass, is supporting Pulte to be what? I guess the director of national intelligence now. You got a home builder as the director of national intelligence. I trust the president's judgment on all of this. So we shall see. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget the website, GrantStinchfield.com. That's GrantStinchfield.com. Social media, Stinchfield1776 on all the platforms. Please like, subscribe to the podcast. I'm grateful when you do. Share it. Talk about it, too, to your friends. That's how we spread the word. And big thanks to Captain Shelley, our moderator, who does such a good job, and all of the regulars that I see in there. I'm grateful to all of you as well. We will be back here. Actually, I've got a short podcast, finance market-based. Tomorrow I'm going to do short, but it should be fun. So that's tomorrow, and then I'll see you back here on Monday for a full version of Stinchfield. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stinchfield's Army rolls. We'll see you soon.